Hi, I'm Chris Thompson, and joining me is my cat Coda. Seems to be attached to my today. And we're going to discuss my web app idea, which, for lack of a better title, I'm calling Deeper Book Recommendations. And first, I want to look at some examples in more popular websites to kind of give an idea of what I think the web app should do. So first is Amazon, and I'm gonna move over here a little bit. There we go. So Amazon, of course, their model is to try to sell as many books as they can, and so they have several features to do that. On top here is they're frequently bought together. So I looked up the book by George Saunders, his new one, "A Swim in a Pond in the Rain," and as you can see, they have an option of frequently bought together. Something that people they're looking at this book and they see, oh, another George Saunders book and another book that looks interesting. Let's buy them. And I imagine they must base this on any algorithms they have based on what other people buy, maybe. There's also in the middle. They have books you may like. So this seems to be just general recommendations based on uh, books you've bought. And as you can see, my buying books for my kids has kind of uh, changed up my recommendation here. And then on the bottom, they have products related to this item. So these appear to be other nonfiction books that I'm not sure how they're related, but or how Amazon gets this, but these are all features that Amazon has to try to get you to add more books to your cart. And while as a library, we're not, librarians not trying to get people to buy. I mean, the goal isn't to make profits off of people buying books. Still you want to get as many people checking out books, as many books as you can get. Uh, Another example is Goodreads, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. Um, so Goodreads attracts a lot of readers to track their own reading, share their thoughts on the reading, and in order to get people more interested in other books, they have a feature like research readers also enjoyed, which I've circled to the right of the description of the Four Winds. And so these are books that um, seem to be their recommendations that are unique to the Four Winds. So it looks like readers who have read the Four Winds have also read and enjoyed this other list of books here. And uh, you can see they're not books that are just written by Kristen Hanna. I don't see any written by Kristen Hanna in that opening list. But this is one way that Goodreads gets people to click on their links and view more books they want to read, click and add them to their want to read list, and just get people excited and interested in reading. We also see this in movies. I'll move over here again. Or with Netflix. So this is a screen for the new Kevin Hart movie, Fatherhood. When you click on that, you could see more like this. So these are movies that probably have similar themes, similar in some way, or maybe other people have also watched them that they think could be interested in. And then the last example is for music, Spotify. And if you're artists you like Foo Fighters, they have a list of bigger than the three here, but that's all I could really fit in the screen capture. So they have a list of you might maybe also like people also like Bush. They like Audioslave, Soundgarden. So ways to get you to listen to more, keep listening to music on Spotify. So I'm basing my idea off the library network, and which is where my library is through the consortium. And the library network does have a recommendation system, just like a general recommendation system, which I think is needs a lot of work. honestly. The biggest number of recommendations they ever have is 5. And when I created this presentation, these were the 5 books recommended to me, and this is actually a better recommendation than I've had at other times. But as you can see, it's all dominated by Robert Kirkman's graphic novel series Invincible, which had just checked out. Last weekend I checked out volume 5 of the book, and I've been reading it because of the Amazon Prime show. And so the library network has filled up my recommendations with more Invincible. Even though volume 4 they have there was one I had recently checked out at the library, and that one, it seems like it shouldn't be part of the recommendation system since it is part of the system. But the problem that I have with the recommendation system of the library is the sound recording, the CD of Intermediate Spanish, which I have no idea where they got that, where they think I would be interested in, learning about Spanish, because I haven't checked anything out except maybe for my kids. I've checked out something that was like English Spanish kind of thing. And more recently, when just today, just before doing this presentation, I clicked on the recommendation system, and they had only one recommendation for me, and it was a DVD of a movie called Broken Blossoms, which I've never heard of. So I think the recommendation system definitely needs to be fixed in the library, and I don't know how they do that. But my idea is not a general recommendation system. It's more like the Goodreads readers also enjoy. It's a recommendation that's unique, that's going to be different based on whatever book that you happen to be looking at. So, for example, let's click on Invincible, Volume 6, and here it is. In the library network book page, they have summary, title, author, so on of the book, along with an option to place a hold, add it to a list, maybe get up to 5 stars. You can add tags down at the bottom, so something interactive. When I look at this page, maybe I look at this page and I look and see if there's any copies available at my library, the Royal Oak Library. And if there's no copies there, then my options are either to try to place a hold on it and get it through interlibrary loan, or just call it a day, say, they don't have it, so I guess I'm not getting anything. Or ideally, and that's why I circled that related, you would hope something like related might show books that are similar. But in the library network, when you click on related, it just gives you a little bit more details, a little bit more metadata on the book. Short summary, Robert Kirkman, a little bit about him. Has books that are in the series, which is helpful if I want to try to find. Sometimes these graphic novels, it's hard to find search for the specific book since they're all titled so differently. And they provide tags that you could click on and see other books that have similar tags. And this feature is not. You can also write reviews, but these features, the reviews, the tags, they're not used that much. If I click on one of these tags, you might see one other book, maybe 2. So they're not used too frequently. But my idea would be, instead of giving up, the Royal Oak Library doesn't have Invincible Volume 6. Instead of giving up, maybe they have a unique recommendation system that here's some books similar to this that you might be interested in. So, like, for example, if I, on Goodreads, when I go on Goodreads for this book, you see that they have a section, just like with the Four Winds, that readers also enjoyed. And with the library network, the only other books I saw were other books in the series, which I'm not gonna jump ahead and read book 7. I'm not gonna go back and reread a book. So ideally, have a book recommendation system that shows you books that are similar, but that you might actually be interested in checking out. So this has like the Immortal Hulk here, some Guarding the Globe, something, another. This isn't the same Invincible something, but it's not the same. It's a series. So I envision with the library network, when you're on the page of Invincible Volume 6, that you have this option to see, here's some other books you might be interested in that you that you might want to check out instead. If this book's not available to you at the library and you want to check, leave the library with a book, here's some more options for you that you might like. So this is what I envision on that sidebar when you're on Invincible Book 6 in the library network. I envision a little button down here where that arrow is that says similar, and you click on that and you see your book recommendations. And I'll go into some more details on that later. So another thing, my app has two parts because sometimes when I do these things, I have a hard time just limiting myself to just one thing. So to kind of deepen the recommendations more, I'm basing this off of Netflix's best match system, where they show, for example, on the Netflix series Lupin, it says this is a 99% match for me, which suggests that I'm probably going to like the series. Although it seems like Netflix usually your matches are 90% or above with most things anyway, so I don't know how useful it is, but so I envision that when somebody looks up a book like Invincible Volume 6, they'll see based on previous books they've rated and checked out, they'll see that, hey, this is a 99% match for you because, obviously you probably read the previous 5 books and liked them, books that are similar. So this is, something you're searching for another book and it might show you a 50% match or something and you're like, nah, I'll skip that, try to find something else. So first, a little bit of information about the, where I envision this recommendation system being put into place. And that is the library network. Library network serves 74 libraries in Southeast Michigan. And these libraries are located in Oakland, largely in Oakland and Wayne counties, with some in Livingston, Washtenaw, and St. Clair counties. That I didn't. There may be some other counties I missed in there, but they don't give that specific information. I wrote down some example libraries. When I looked at the statistics, I looked at the top. I basically looked at the top 10 in terms of books checked out in May of 2021. So this shows you the libraries include Novi, Northville, Livonia, Dexter, Brighton, Commerce Township, Salem South Lyon, Heartland, Cromaine, Royal Oak, Waterford Township. So pretty spread out in a diverse area. And also looking at those numbers, that adds up to, that's about 100,000 checkouts based on my just spot check math. There's a pretty big audience in this area, and that's just the top 10 out of 74 libraries. So I think a system like this could see significant use if it's user friendly, and it could drive up those checkout numbers too. So some of the somewhat technical stuff based on a little bit I know about this. My book recommendations would kind of rely on users actually using the ratings in the OPAC, because the library network, you can rate books on a 5-star scale. I think you can do the half-star. And it's something I don't always think to do, and it doesn't seem like very many people do. You see Invincible Volume 6, nobody's rated it here, but so this will rely on people actually using that that star rating in the OPAC. And so when the user rates the book, it would store that rating in a system database, and it'd probably have the database would store all users and all their ratings. This would be in a separate module of the ILS, something separate from the OPAC. And then the algorithm that I envisioned for this would have 2 parts. One part, and this is the algorithm that decides which books should be displayed for recommendation. So in the first part, the algorithm would look at the the metadata, like the author, the genre, the topic, which would be any of the subject tags, and the year of publication. It would take that information, and it would also look at other user ratings. So maybe it would look at anybody else who's rated Invincible Volume 6, and it would kind of combine, do its algorithm thing and combine all that information, the user rating, see here's what else they've rated, here's other books, here's books that share that author, books that share, and maybe the artist, that'd be another author in there, the genre, topic, so on. And it would take those and maybe share the, maybe just 5 or maybe, 10 or whatever books. So it would, come up with that list, and and it would be so it would be solely based on this Invincible Volume 6, and not just a general recommendation system based on just what the users read, but based on what other people have read, how the book compares to other books. And it'll also use this similar algorithm to calculate the likelihood of a patron enjoying the book, to show that best match, that 99% or that 60% match, or whatever. So the idea is that you need to have a lot of people, rating books. You need to have like something like akin to Goodreads, where people are using it. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be that big an audience because it's only limited to just the one area. But you do need people using the user rating system. So it would have, if the individual patron hasn't rated enough books, it would try to encourage them to do so by writing in place of that where it would say 99% match. Right on the bottom, it says, please rate more books for best match estimate. So it would try to encourage you to rate books. And I know some websites you have like where you can click on books that generally popular books that maybe you have read and just click on a rating for that, but that may be beyond what I have for this right now. So the one downfall of this is if it's not used, then you're not going to get very good recommendations. I think it could have a pretty major impact on the libraries, on the especially the OPAC and the libraries themselves. It could drive up in-person and OPAC traffic, having these recommendations. I mean, you have it'll give people incentive to go on the OPAC and rate books and to look at other books, and and it would similar to Goodreads here, like Invincible Volume 6 has no ratings on the library network, but in Goodreads it has a fair amount of ratings, and over 100 reviews, and so I mean, of course we're not gonna see that many ratings on the library network, but hopefully it would increase those ratings, get people excited about using their OPAC, going to their library. It would also potentially increase the use of other user features that are in the library that are currently in the library that just are in the OPAC that just don't get much use, like the ratings themselves. More people would rate books more often in order to get better recommendations. They might write more reviews, possibly, but I think the social network aspect of Goodreads kind of, the library, the OPAC's lacking that, and it might get more people to tag books more often as well, so they can, because that also increases the number of recommendations you might get. It may lead to more books checked out, as I said, instead of if you're at your library and you look on the OPAC on one of the computer terminals and you see that the book's not available, it could potentially provide an alternative for patrons, and it could be both at a library or at home. It could provide some alternatives, and and if you're looking up a book at home and you see it's not available at the library, there's no point in me going to the library today. Maybe you see a recommendation you like and decide, I want to go get that. And also, more importantly, or I don't know if it's more importantly, but it helps make the library a go-to for reading recommendations. I mean, that should be the library's responsibility, is to provide recommendations. That should be the place people go look to, the OPAC, the library itself, to see what they should read next. And, instead people get the bulk of their recommendations from, from websites like Goodreads or other publications. And I think this could help get libraries, if this is spread out in other ILS systems, it could put libraries back on the map in terms of being a go-to for reading recommendations. All right, and that is my presentation. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Also, my cat says bye too.